I get asked a lot about manifesting love, and today I want to do a deep dive into practical ways that you can call love into your life. We are all so deserving of love, but sometimes our relationship wounds can get in the way of us feeling worthy. I want to share my exact process for how I manifested my relationship with my husband after years of reading every single book out there on manifesting love. And I hope you'll stay even if you aren't manifesting a romantic relationship, because these principles can apply to so many different areas of your life, and I know that you'll still find value here. My approach is a mix of psychology and self-worth work, mixed with some surrender and trusting of your life path. If you're new here, hello and welcome. My name is Brielle and I'm a licensed therapist, but I created this channel because with this channel, I want to help you regulate your nervous system, develop self-compassion, and overall just live a more peaceful life. And hopefully we can have some fun along the way. So if that sounds like your vibe, I would love it if you would subscribe and stick around. But let's get into the topic at hand. I want to first paint a picture of the version of me before doing the work to accept love. I was in a pretty bad place with relationships. I felt extremely powerless. I was solely focused on whether or not other people liked me, that I didn't even really take the time to decide who I liked and what qualities I wanted in a person. I was living from my relationship wounds rather than the innate wisdom of who I was and what I deserved. I'm a child of divorce, so there was always kind of this part of me that felt like you couldn't control other people and that something bad could happen at any time, so I kind of always had this guard up. And while it's true that you can't control other people, you never can, and you shouldn't want to control other people. Everybody has free will for a reason. But the difference is you don't need to live from that place and live in fear of that. That's not a healthy way to approach relationships. So at a certain point, I got sick of feeling like this and living from this place, and I decided I needed to shift my mindset. So I read all the books out there on healing and attracting love, and I went to therapy. And from this, I developed a process that really worked for me and my life. Now, in therapy at this point, I had been to therapy many times before, and I had worked through the same issues that I was going to therapy this time to work through. So when I came to therapy this time and I presented my fears about relationships, and as I was presenting this issue, I was using all the therapy jargon that I had learned from being in therapy previous times. And I was almost presenting solutions as I was presenting the problem, because at this point, like I said, I had already been in therapy for these things many times, and I had already worked through a lot of this stuff. I was about as self-aware as you can get about where my issues came from, why I was the way I was, and what to do about it. But at this point, I'd come back to therapy because I didn't trust myself enough to start living from a healed place. I thought I had more to hash out, and this can apply to any area of life. Sometimes we really do have the answers, and we just aren't trusting ourselves enough to live them. So my therapist at the time, she just listens to me go through all of this. When I'm done talking, she says to me, "It sounds like you're really ready to allow yourself to be loved. You know this, now you just need to trust it." I'll never forget that moment, because in that moment, she gave me permission to trust myself. She gave me permission to drop my resistance and allow that I was ready to heal and to accept love. I immediately started crying, and I just had this huge release because I realized how badly I was really wanting to trust myself. So if you're in that place of being self-aware of what's holding you back and you're just not knowing what next step to take, I want to offer you the same permission, that you are ready to allow good and love and healing into your life, and that you can trust your path and your own progression because you can trust yourself. So now that I was ready to allow, what steps did I take? I knew that I had to take big action in the direction of showing myself and my life more love. Part of this action was things that I would no longer allow in my life. I knew I had to stop complaining about the things that I didn't have and stop focusing solely on lack. I had to start focusing on and having gratitude for what I did have in my life and the love that was all around me. You can't put energy into putting yourself down or expressing why you don't deserve love in your life and then attract love. The other part of taking action was to actively let go of the things that I wanted to leave behind and take steps towards what I wanted. To begin to let go, I started journaling and writing about the things that had hurt me that I wanted to separate from. And then I would burn the pages to truly symbolize letting that thing go. and symbolized that I was ready to let it go. And every time I felt hurt or shame about how I had handled the situation, I would practice replacing those thoughts with self-forgiveness. Things like, I forgive myself for any past decisions, or I will offer myself forgiveness now. I had a willingness to shed my past stories of why love wasn't attainable in my life. Now, when you want to cultivate love in any area of your life, it's a delicate balance of being strong and having boundaries, while also letting people in when they earn it. People do have to earn your vulnerability, as Brene Brown would say. So when I was working on this, I started doing heart visualizations where I imagined my heart getting stronger and I imagined building a protective shield around it, but I imagined it softening for the right person or the right people. And this really helped me because up until that point in my life, I had kind of been living in extremes. I either had periods of being extremely guarded with my heart where I didn't let anybody in, or it was the complete opposite, where my heart kind of felt like this exposed nerve because I was so affected by everything and I let everybody in and then I ended up getting hurt. You really do have to have a balance in your life. You have to be discerning, but also open. And now I want to talk about becoming the energy of what you want in your life. So now that you've taken action to let go and remove blocks in your life, now what? When I got to that point, I started focusing on the energy of the relationship I wanted. I made a list of qualities that were important to me, and then I went down the list and started to focus on, okay, how can I be more of those things in my own life? You attract what you are, what you're ready for, and what you believe you deserve. So to attract good things, you need to embody those qualities, be open, and know that you're deserving. And I also want to clarify something because I know this is said a lot, and I do fully believe it too, that you have to be okay on your own in order to attract love in any form into your life. But this doesn't mean that you can't desire or want love in your life. It just means that you don't believe that love has to come in and fix you or fill a hole in your life. You have to be whole on your own, and then it's okay to desire things that will enhance your life. Something coming in and fixing your life is always temporary, because even if at the beginning you feel like that thing or that person is coming in and filling a hole, then you always rely on that thing or that person to make you feel better. Then you're completely giving away your power. You've decided that you're not even in the driver's seat of your own life. So then your mood and your confidence and your self-worth is always reliant on another person. And that's never going to feel good long term. So you have to be fiercely committed to showing yourself and your life love in small ways every single day. Constantly affirming that you appreciate who you are and you know you're worthy of good things. Even if you don't necessarily believe that yet, when you start to affirm that and you're committed to affirming that in your life, you will believe it with repetition. So after you've removed the blocks in your life, gotten clear on what you've wanted, and committed to taking action and showing yourself love, what's next? Next is letting go of how this love shows up in your life. When I stopped trying to control how love was going to show up in my life, my world opened up. After I had gone through this whole process, right, I had accepted that I was ready and willing to be loved, willing to change my stories around love and relationships. I did the work to showing myself in my life love. Then I let go of how it was going to happen. I decided that I had to say yes to life. I had to be extremely open to opportunities to love finding me. Things can't find you, good things can't find you, love can't find you when you're closed off. The summer that I met my husband, I had done all this work on myself. I was working so hard at showing myself love and compassion and showing myself I deserved good things and working on being a person that I wanted to attract, being the kind of person that I wanted to attract. Then I started seeing more opportunities come into my life. I got the opportunity to go on an amazing trip with these friends that I had, and I went to Belize with a group of friends. And on that trip, I got an invitation to go to Vegas with one of the girls that was on the trip. And I said yes. I said yes to any opportunities that were coming my way. So I went on this Vegas trip. And while I was on this Vegas trip is when I met my husband, when I was in the middle of being completely free, having fun, living my life, feeling love for myself and my life, and feeling whole on my own. That's when I met my husband. We met at a club in Vegas and we ended up doing long distance for 2 years. We've been together now over 6.5 years and we've been married over 2 years and we're incredibly happy together. And it's a beautiful relationship and a beautiful love. This all happened because I said yes to life, and so life said yes back to me. I shifted my mindset to one of openness, trust, and readiness to receive. But manifesting love doesn't end when you meet somebody, whether that's a romantic relationship or you meet new friends or just new people. You have to keep showing up with the energy of self-respect and openness. So if you're manifesting love into your life, start with yourself. Build a life that feels like love first. If this resonated, I'd love to make more videos about manifesting specific things with self-love and self-trust. So comment what you want to call in next. And I want to show my appreciation for you spending your time here with me today. If you like this video, it would mean so much to me if you would like and subscribe and leave a comment below. And I hope you have a beautiful day. See you next time.